We've dealt with them for ages and they've always paid us before. The words of comfort, often uttered by suppliers when facing for the first time an unpaid invoice from a regular customer. Hi, and welcome to the fourth of the 7 deadly sins of credit management. Complacency. They've always paid us before. In fairness, this is perhaps the most challenging deadly sin to handle internally, often because you feel awkward. You built up a degree of trust with your more established customers, and in turn they too feel as though they've earned your trust and the right to ongoing credit. No questions asked. However, no matter how comfortable your relationship with a customer, it's not a justifiable reason to ignore any warning signs that come your way.
When we look at the debt recovery side of the business, one of the reasons that businesses don't come to us early enough or leave it too late is because
people have always paid us before. We've been doing business with them for years, never been any problems, there's been no warning signs whatsoever. Yes, they've maybe had a few late invoices over the years, but they've always paid us. That's all well and good, but quite often there will be other warning signs in place. So really what we need to look at is, what are those warning signs and what is good practice? It's sound credit management practice to monitor your customers on an ongoing basis. It's not only about finding out their financial position and knowing what it is as a new customer, but also to do that throughout the relationship and on a repeated basis. Any customer where the regular invoices, if they went unpaid, were going to cause you financial hardship, you need to be looking at those a lot closer. There are numerous ways in which you can monitor your customers. Some of them internal, such as checking payment history of customers, looking at their payment habits, how many times you've had to chase them for overdue monies, and where they haven't paid but then made a promise to pay, how good are they at keeping those promises? Others might include access to a credit report monitoring service, which automatically alerts you to any meaningful change in the credit status of your customer. Be cautious of sole reliance on this type of service, however, as it's far from fail-safe.
it's often based on outdated information such as the latest accounts filed at Companies House. It's an unfortunate fact that when you receive a warning that a company has a new judgment recorded against it, then it's more often than not too late for you to have any chance of getting paid.
You must also be a realist in assessing how important you are on your customer's priority list for making payments. A really good question to ask yourself is, are you easy to replace or are you irreplaceable? If it's that you're irreplaceable, it could well be that you are oblivious to the difficult financial plight of your customer until that dreaded insolvency notice arrives, and then the reason you haven't been paid becomes all too clear. Don't let it get to that stage. Be on your guard with more subtle alternatives, such as the Register of Outstanding Invoices monitoring system, which will alert you not just in the event of CCJs being awarded, which again can be too late, but also will give you an indication of whether or not they're not paying other bills before it actually gets to the CCJ point. If you're completely oblivious, it could be too late. If you are easily replaceable, then the last invoice before the move supplier might not get paid because they're just trying to increase the cash flow and move their business around, getting new credit, knowing full well that they can't pay you. This is one of the reasons why when gaining a new customer, in addition to the things we've talked about in previous videos, it's also essential to think about, why are they coming to you as a new business? Is it because you've got a fantastic sales process, a fantastic sales team, and you've done a great job in delivering your value proposition that we're always going to buy from you anyway? Or perhaps that they were unhappy with the levels of service, of delivery, of quality, or changes in the pricing structure of their previous supplier? Or are they coming to you because they are on a stop everywhere else? By answering these few simple questions, hopefully it's going to enable you to potentially catch out those companies that are using you purely as an emergency credit lifeline. So in summary, with regard to complacency around payments from existing customers, first of all, don't take it for granted that an existing customer, as good as the relationship has been, as good as their payment history, will never ever get into financial trouble. Employ some sort of monitoring service, utilize systems and processes both internally and potentially externally. We can look at the payment history. Is that changing? Run your aged debtor list. Is some of those businesses gradually increasing how long it takes to pay their invoices? Talk to other suppliers or the local businesses that you know deal with them in the area. Consider employing an early monitoring system which will flag up if there are any adverse financial changes that could impact on their ability or their credit rate, their ability to pay you, or the credit rating. Remember, multiple sources, information from Companies House, information on CCJs, early warning systems that tell you if they're not paying their other bills, such as ROSI, the Register of Outstanding Invoices, especially with your bigger customers or any customers that have a significant percentage of your overall turnover. They get into trouble and they can't pay you, then that will have a domino effect onto your business. And then in terms of you being replaceable or irreplaceable, remember both those groups potentially could be in danger. Ask yourselves those 4 questions about why is this business coming to us? Don't get caught out on being used as an emergency credit lifeline. Thanks for watching. See you again soon.